And the country with the most to lose isn't in the Middle East, it's China. For decades, China has shipped roughly half its crude oil through the Strait of Hormuz, and the U.S. Navy kept it open the entire time. Beijing never sent a warship to help, never contributed to patrols, and never even offered. 90% of China's Middle East oil flows through that single choke point, and the country protecting it gets less than 3% of its own petroleum from the region. That arrangement worked as long as nobody questioned it. On March 31st, the Pentagon questioned it, and within hours, China and Pakistan dropped a joint 5-point peace plan, calling for an immediate ceasefire, restored strait navigation, and safety guarantees for stranded ships. A response that fast is a scramble. Beijing's watching this unfold at the worst possible moment. China's economy just posted its lowest growth target since 1991. Xi Jinping spent 5 weeks watching Operation Epic Fury show him what happens when a country challenges American military dominance. Iran's command structure collapsed in hours. Its air defenses were wiped out. Its leadership was killed and its entire navy was sunk. China accounts for 37.7% of all oil that flows through the Strait of Hormuz, more than any other country on Earth. Between 45 and 50% of every barrel China imports passes through that one gap in the coastline, adding up to 5.4 million barrels a day headed for Chinese ports. That's roughly 1 in every 3 tankers transiting the strait, carrying oil bound for China. Iran makes the exposure even worse. China buys more than 80% of Iran's oil exports, roughly 1.38 million barrels a day, which accounts for over 13% of China's total seaborne crude imports. That oil's now stuck behind a choke point that's effectively closed, coming from a country that's fighting for its survival and has no ability to guarantee deliveries. Beijing built one of its cheapest supply relationships on the one producer most likely to get into a war with the United States. Compare that to America. The United States produces over 13.6 million barrels of oil a day, making it the world's largest producer and a net exporter. Trump doesn't need a single barrel from the Strait of Hormuz. He looked at those numbers and saw an exit. China imports roughly 70% of all the oil it uses, and the single largest share comes through a 21-mile gap that its own military can't reach, let alone protect. The country that kept the strait open doesn't need it, and the country that needs it most has no way to keep it open. The language from Washington on March 31st wasn't vague. It came from 3 separate platforms on the same day, and every one of them said the same thing. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth went after the Royal Navy by name at the Pentagon briefing, saying that last time he checked, there was supposed to be a big bad Royal Navy ready to handle exactly this kind of problem. His message to every country that depends on the strait was even simpler. Start learning how to fight for yourself because the United States isn't going to do it for you. He called the strait an international waterway that the U.S. uses dramatically less than most. Trump backed him up from the Oval Office the same afternoon, saying the U.S. isn't going to have anything to do with whatever happens to the strait. Then he posted it on Truth Social, and the full version left nothing to interpretation. He told every country struggling to get fuel to buy oil from the United States because America has plenty. Then he told them to build up some delayed courage, go to the strait and just take it.